Do you ever get that feeling in your gut that something just isn't right? Like you're missing something? That's the feeling I get when I ask board members this one question. Welcome back, I'm Samantha McGorrick, and you are watching the Know WTA show, where I help board members and executives like yourself know what to ask and when to act, so that you can lead with your heart and put people first by leading safe and healthy work. So make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out. This week we're looking at performance indicators as part of our focus on risk management. Now, I see far too many performance reports with key performance indicators that are not helping board members understand how well they are managing their risk, and importantly, how health and safety is helping overall business performance and creating value. Now, that could be revenue generating or building on reputation or creating efficiencies, whatever it is that you see as value in your business. Poor performance reporting, and that includes reporting that does not indicate or contextualize how activities that keep people healthy and safe contribute to organizational value beyond incidents, causes business leaders to be uninterested in talking about health and safety, seeing it as red tape or merely a compliance issue, or so confused by what they're looking at that they rely on other board members, maybe their pseudo board health and safety expert, to do the heavy lifting and ask the difficult questions. So listen in, because today I'm going to break down the art of health and safety lead and lag indicators. This foundation will assist you in determining what are the types of key performance indicators that you should be monitoring. Make sure you stick around to the end of this video, because I'm going to tell you how you can get your hands on my free board health and safety performance report. Now let's get started. A few years ago, I attended a board meeting as the company's health and safety advisor. I was being asked some questions in regard to the company's health and safety performance reporting that, to be honest, were not targeting the right areas as to what the board should be monitoring. But aside from that, I could see that one particular board member had positioned themselves as the board's health and safety expert. While I could tell from that board member's questioning that their experience was limited in the area of health and safety governance, I also got the feeling that the rest of the board did not have the confidence to challenge that board member or me. Over time, I have come to realize that it was likely because they didn't know what they should be looking for or asking for. So their default was to let that board member ask what might be considered the tough questions without really knowing whether that board member was competent enough to do so on their behalf. If this is something that resonates with you, give me a yes in the comments below right now. As a company director or board member, you need to be comfortable in knowing what to ask and when to act. Comfortable enough that you can challenge the information that is put in front of you in a constructive way. But to do so, you need to have an understanding of what a good health and safety performance report looks like. And that means you need to know how lead and lag indicators are used in a health and safety reporting context. I can get a good understanding of the maturity of a board's approach to health and safety governance by looking at performance reports, or just by asking them, what health and safety indicators are you monitoring? If their answer is a little something like, we measure lead and lag indicators. Our lag indicators look at injuries and incidents, and our lead indicators are hazard reporting, completion of training, and the closeout of corrective actions. Well, that's when I get that feeling in my gut that there's something missing. I mean, have they taken the time to work out why? The why behind what they're monitoring. Because while those are good activities to be monitoring, they're only as good as the why you're monitoring them. And here lies a common misconception around health and safety performance reporting. There is no equivalent gross profit margin, net profit, or current ratio in health and safety performance reporting to measure and compare a business's success in managing its health and safety, or how health and safety measures are contributing to organizational value. The meaning of this is threefold. One, there is no common measure in health and safety that says how well you're doing at managing risk. Two, you cannot get the indicators from one business and blanketly apply them to another business. Indicators need to be specific to your business and the risks that you face. And three, You should see indicators that give you some perspective as to how health and safety is contributing to organizational value. Something like your enterprise value to revenue ratio. You want to be monitoring what matters, and the key to your reporting should be to give you confidence that you're controlling risk, and your reports should highlight how health and safety activities are creating value in your organization. Again, whatever that value looks like. And this is why you need to understand the art of health and safety lead and lag indicators, or simply put, the difference and purpose behind them. So what do lead and lag health and safety indicators look like? Often, they're differentiated by one being proactive, that's the lead indicator, and the other being reactive, the lag indicator. A better explanation is that lead indicators are useful at measuring aspects of implementation. So, how well a control is implemented, while lag indicators reflect outcomes or outputs of a process. They're useful at determining effectiveness of a control. So, lead indicators measure implementation, and lag indicators measure effectiveness. You should have lead and lag indicators for each of your major control processes. And you determine those major control processes by having a good understanding of your risk profile. Once you have identified your major control processes, you can determine the indicators that will show you how well the control process is implemented and how effective that control process is. But it all starts with a good understanding of your risks. At a board level, it is not your job to determine what are the controls. Your governance role is to monitor the implementation and effectiveness of those controls. Let's apply this to a very simple example of an office relocation. A major control process for the office relocation could be consultation with workers. Because I'll tell you, consultation will help with early identification of hazards in the design of the workspace. From a cost perspective, if we don't identify hazards early on, we will end up doing more costly renovations down the track that could have been fixed earlier in the design process. One of the lead consultation indicators that you could measure is the number of staff consulted before the move. Or you could also represent this as a percentage of the workforce or a percentage of a particular group that was going to be heavily impacted by the move. You could even measure that consultation was done before a specific date or in a specific forum. The lead indicator will tell you how well implemented the consultation process was, and then you can get some comfort by knowing, wow, we did a pretty good job at reaching all the right people and asking for their feedback. Now we need to measure how well all that effort that went into the consultation process being implemented, how effective was it? We should be asking ourselves, are we going to be able to tell that the time and effort we took to consult was effective? And that's when we look at a lag indicator. We could look to measure the number of staff suggestions that we put in place in the new location. Or better yet, we could measure the number of staff suggestions that involve designing out hazards in the new location, because that's a better indicator of how consultation assists us in risk management. You see, now we have a lead and lag indicator around that major control process for our office relocation, that being the implementation and effectiveness of consultation prior to the move. But where the rubber really meets the road with you is how you interpret the value that these indicators create in your business. It's all well and good to say, okay, we have comfort that we've consulted and we can see that quite a few of the issues were rectified. This will help us in managing our health and safety risk. But this is exactly why it's been identified in Australian research of company directors that they see health and safety as a compliance risk and red tape. While this exercise of consultation alone would create immense value in your business, and it would be cumulative if you continue to regularly consult after the move to identify things that were missed beforehand, you can only see this correlation to organizational value if you have indicators set up to show you the value, or you're provided with some context in your reports that covers off on this. In this example, you may want to see how much you saved in costs based on the fact that you changed the original design of the workplace to manage out the hazard and didn't leave it to a retrofit. Or you might want to see how your efforts in consultation improve morale or engagement. You could even look at whether there were lower levels of sick leave or absenteeism post the move. These are just some examples, but the point is, if you're not seeing the value that your indicators bring to the overall business performance, then ask the question of those who are providing you with the information. You can get as creative as you want with your indicators, but take the time to think about why you're monitoring what you're monitoring. Remember, monitor what matters. This will be specific to your business and should show you how health and safety is creating value in your business. I promised you at the beginning that I have a free resource for you. It's an example of a board health and safety report that gives you some suggestions of the types of indicators that you could consider in your reporting. Click on the link that I provided in the show notes to get yourself a copy. One of the foundational principles of leading safe and healthy work is sharing knowledge across business, industry, and borders. In this way, we can share with each other what works and what hasn't worked, and not to be ashamed or embarrassed of that, because we're talking about people's lives, and that's pretty important. So in the context of sharing, let this community know in the comments below your lead and lag indicators, those that have worked for you, and maybe those that haven't. As always, I hope this has helped you in your quest to know what to ask and when to act. If you like this video, do let me know by clicking the thumbs up icon below, but more importantly, if you think that others would find similar value from this content, please share it with them. If you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be notified when I post a new video every Wednesday. And if you want to get more great insights into what to ask and when to act, plus personal insights that I just can't put into video, come on over to SamanthaMcGolrick.com, sign up to get email updates, and I would love to have you on board. Be brave and stay true to a commitment to lead from your heart by putting people first, and I am confident you will reap the rewards. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.